At this juncture, we've covered Social Studies U.S. History Standard 1A, this substandard here, in its entirety. And real quick, let's review it. It says explain Virginia's development, semicolon, include the Virginia Company, comma, tobacco cultivation, relationships with Native Americans such as Powhatan, the development of House Burgesses, Bacon's Rebellion, and the development of slavery. And of course, Virginia is located in the southern colonies, and that's basically what we're talking about here is the southern colonies. And Virginia is in green, and Jamestown is near Williamsburg here on the James River. And we were talking about these southern colonies and some of the principles within them. All right, in our elements within that particular standard, 1A and substandard, we had 6 different things we had to talk about. What I wanted to look at here was the parallels or similarities in themes here between 1A and 1B. I wanted to look at those before we went on to 1C. I think it's extremely important to look at themes and understand how these are parallels and how they're similar and how they kind of complement our understanding of what's going on within the colonies. Alright, so let's look at number 1, economics and migration of the Virginia Company. And number 2, economics or cash crop tobacco cultivation, conflict with Native Americans, Powhatan, and then the government, House Burgesses, Bacon's Rebellion. There's conflict between the colonists, between the wealthy and elite and the poor, and also between the governor and the colonist. And then the last one, the development of slavery, migration, forced migration. Alright, let's look at 1B and let's find out where the similarities are. Describe the settlement of New England. New England being this area up in the northern part of the original 13 colonies. And the heart of it is Massachusetts here. Okay, let's go back here. It says describe the settlement of New England. Include religious reasons why they come. Relationships with Native Americans, that sounds similar. King Philip in this instance and his war, the establishment of town meetings and the development of a legislature, religious tensions that led to the founding of Rhode Island, halfway covenant, settling witch trials, and the loss of the Massachusetts charter and transition to a rural charter. Alright, and let's look at those themes and see the similarities. 1, migrations. The reasons for migration were religious rather than from gold or material gain. 2, conflict with Native Americans, King Philip's War, town meetings, government, Rhode Island, halfway covenant, and settling witch trials, or religious tensions between the colonists and between the colonists and their government. And then we have the loss of the Massachusetts charter is the conflict between the colonists and the rural government. So let's look at these parallels, let's look at these similarities, and let's see if we can understand these. So here's the southern colonies, that's going to be 1A, and here's the New England colonies, 1B. And here's the thing. Similarities between Powhatan and King Philip in both areas brings out a theme of conflict between Native Americans and the European colonists coming, usually resulting in a lasting defeat for the Native Americans and the expansion of the colonies, usually westward. And we talked about how that would be a contraction for the Native Americans and pushed out westward, the ones that did not get killed or die, and then the expansion of the colonies. And then the second one here, theme, reasons for colonization. We see that southern colonies come for money, cash crops and land, and we see that the New England colonies come to escape religious persecution predominantly. Okay. And then the third area here, Bacon's Rebellion, and then the religious tensions. The theme here is social conflict between the colonists themselves and then their governments, between the colonists and their governments. We see a parallel here, which says similarity. Salem witch trials, halfway covenant, Rhode Island, lost Massachusetts charter. All those are conflicts between the government and the colonists. And then in the theme of government, we see that both of these are democracies, but in the southern colonies we had the Virginia House Burgesses, in the New England colonies we had the town hall meetings. And then the last one, culture, we see African Americans
culture beginning in the South is peculiar institution of slavery, and then their religion was Anglican. And then in the New England colonies, we see also African Americans, but on a small scale, the Puritan culture or religion. So these are the similarities and parallels between 1A and 1B. I just wanted to cover those with you to try to help you differentiate, compare, and contrast these standards between these two regions.